We spend so much of our lives waiting for packages to arrive in the mail, and waiting in line at the store. We wait and we wonder, is there a way for all this to go just a little bit faster? Industrial engineers work to solve this and so many more problems. But what, you might be asking yourself, exactly is industrial engineering? Industrial engineering is the process of inventing and designing ways to analyze and improve complex systems. It is about building better processes, not physical objects, in order to improve our world. We do this by studying math and statistics to understand how to quantify everything around us. We study computing to better manage the massive amounts of information that are available today. And we study business to communicate these findings with leaders of industry. And how does this knowledge translate from the classroom to the world beyond? Industrial engineers work in all fields, from manufacturing to finance to entertainment and everything in between. We standardize processes in hospitals, ensuring patients are able to see doctors and get treated as soon as possible. We analyze risk in finance, helping companies and individuals make smarter investments with their money. We automate dangerous processes with the use of machines to reduce both the time to complete tasks and the risk towards human workers. We decide on routes that determine how products go from factories to retailers to homes in the quickest and most energy efficient way possible. We streamline rides at amusement parks to minimize the time guests spend on lines. And we design factories from the ground up, making manufacturing safer and more efficient. Now, who are industrial engineers? We are problem solvers who focus on the big picture to ensure systems are running smoothly and efficiently. We are team players who work with other engineers and alongside experts of industry to solve the newest and most exciting challenges of today. We are analytical thinkers who identify key problems and create inventive ways to solve them. And we are leaders who drive innovation around the globe. Industrial engineers are tirelessly working toward improving and developing solutions to make everything faster, better, and more sustainable. We all would love to spend less of our time waiting. What will you do to make things in life happen just a little bit sooner?
Made by our incredible students who are a part of the IISE student group. So now I will let Professor Adam Turk, take over. He is the department chair for IEOR, and he's going to present. So without further ado.
Thank you very much, Goldie. Let me see. Share this. Share. Going to slideshow. All right, great. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for making time with us. We're delighted to have the opportunity to present to you what our department is about, our graduate sort of program. I hope you find this information session useful. Together with me, we have a sort of panel of faculty and staff members, as well as IEOR students with us. And I'd like to introduce them first before starting the presentation. So you heard from Goldie. So how about we start with Goldie, maybe a sort of quick introduction, and then.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Goldie Neglev. I do communications for the department. And yeah, that video is like gold for a communications manager. So every time I watch it, I'm just really blown away by how amazing the students are at this department. There's really something special about everyone I've encountered. All of the students, they all share in common that they want to make an impact and they want to improve the world. And it's very inspiring to do my job every day. So yeah, I am excited for everyone to learn more about IEOR, and I hope we get a chance to continue talking with all of the community college students who are on this call today, and hopefully this will lead to a longer, conversation with all of you. Okay.
Thank you, Gauti. And then we have Ginny Sadam.
Hi, all. I'm in IEOR undergraduate student services, so I can answer questions about the curriculum. Once you get to campus, I'm your one-stop shop for the questions that you have about being at Berkeley. Work closely with our undergraduate students to help them with classes and finding resources on the Berkeley campus.
Great, thank you. And then we have a faculty member, Rajan Udwani.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rajan. I'm, I guess, a relatively new faculty. I've been here for 3 years. I'm an assistant professor, and I guess my research is related to online markets. We saw a little bit about in the introduction processes. So I'm quite interested in the processes that we use in various kinds of online platforms. And I'll be more than happy to answer any kinds of questions you have. So please don't hesitate, whatever the question is.
Thank you, Rajan. And then we have 4 IEOR students. So let me start with Jello Francisco.
Hey everyone, my name is Jello Francisco. I am a transfer student from De Ante College, and it's my first semester here at Berkeley.
Thanks, Jello. And then Victor.
Hey, hello everybody. My name is Victor Gutierrez. I transferred from Mount Community College. It's in LA.
Thanks, Victor. Shirja.
Hi everyone, my name is Srijal and I went to Contra Costa College, which frankly isn't too far from Berkeley, but I'm currently in my 3rd year at Cal.
Okay, thanks, Srijal. And then finally, Abhigyan.
Hey everyone, I'm Abhigyan and I am a proud transfer student. I transferred from Ohlone College in Fremont, so not too far away, and I am currently a senior in the IEOR department.
Great. Thank you very much, Abhigyan. My plan is to have a short slide presentation about the department, about the program, and then we'll open up for some questions to the panel. All right, so let me start. So our department is named Industrial Engineering and Operations Research. It is the combination of 2 highly related fields. In case you're wondering what operations research is, it is a field of study that combines optimization, statistics, and data science to develop mathematical models of our world, different types of systems, and then design algorithms to come up with solutions to these systems in high dimensions. Whereas the second highly related component, industrial engineering, refers to the analysis of systems at the industrial scale, large scale, and uses the OR methods developed to either design or improve efficiencies of these systems. And such systems often involve time, value, money, information, equipment, raw materials, energy, and other kind of resources. And when I say systems, we're really thinking about, in this context, industrial systems, business systems, such as we're talking about an airline. You may be talking about a hospital, right? We may be talking about a bank, right? Or we may be talking about a manufacturer of some product. So our department combines both theory and practice. On the sort of theory side, on the foundations, we have a set of courses that train students in optimization, modeling of uncertainty, stochastics, and simulation, and more recently in data science and machine learning. And then on the more practical side, we have an emphasis on several sort of areas, whether it's the energy systems, and we may be addressing questions such as how to best incorporate the renewable generation, wind resources and solar resources, which are highly stochastic, into our power grids in the most efficient way. Or healthcare systems, and we may be asking questions here on how to best diagnose diseases as early as possible, and how to come up with treatment, personalized treatment in a very sort of highly optimized way. And if you go to the other corner here, and we may be talking about a manufacturing system and how to best utilize the raw materials, how to best utilize time in a more sort of efficient way, so that we produce the largest amount of sort of products in a short amount of time at a low cost, as much as low cost as possible. Okay. So these are the kind of systems that we're talking about at the high level industrial scale subsystems. Our department and university is highly ranked. As you know, a U.S. News and World Report ranked UC Berkeley as a top public school, and our program, industrial engineering program, is ranked #2, and our college is ranked #3. And I just have a want to give a sort of quick sort of profile of where our alumni sort of go and what they do, what they become. So you see the sort of job titles of our graduates, right? So industrial engineering is no-brainer. They can be business analysts. They can be employed as data scientists. Often they quickly move up to senior management, and they may become C-suite executives. We have a number of founders of companies, CEOs, CFOs, etc., of well-known companies, and that are IEOR, our alumni, and various other sort of job titles. On the left, you see that it is really a sort of broad community. We have alumni that is working throughout the world. It's not just in California, but it's really a global community. One of the very nice features of our field is that with the skills that students are equipped once they graduate, they can find jobs pretty much in every industry, right? Not restrict to a particular industry, whether it is in construction or just in electronics, right? So they can pretty much work in every industry. So it's highly flexible, and it is also highly resilient. As the economy is booming, industrial engineers find it easy to find jobs like in every other profession. But on the other hand, when the economy is contracting, businesses start seriously about how to run their operations most efficiently, and then they need even more industrial engineers. So it is a very resilient profession with respect to the sort of ups and downs of this economy. This slide shows sort of some of the sort of recent placements, and the point I want to get across here is really our students contribute to every sector of the economy, whether it's e-commerce, information technology, healthcare. I see that SpaceX is very much interested in our students recently, and so definitely in entertainment, in manufacturing, and many of the startup companies in the Bay Area employ our students, and many of them are actually started by our own students. In fact, DoorDash, for instance, is started by an IEOR graduate, and they have become extremely successful in the last few years. Couple of sort of profiles that want to sort of list here. Recent IEOR graduate, Sharon Tui. She mentions that she recently joined Google as a data scientist for their YouTube's creator team. And she is very happy to utilize the skills that she learned in IEOR, such as statistical analysis, hypothesis testing, and data analysis. And another profile, Lucy Kressel, and she's been recently shortlisted for the Tech Woman 100 Award, and she's in the finance sector. Recently was promoted to Assistant Vice President of Technology at Barclays. With that, I want to quickly go over this high-level introduction. I want to quickly go over our program, undergraduate program. For community college students, the first 2 years, you probably have taken these courses, but it is an opportunity for you to see the courses that our freshmen and sophomore students take, that in case you don't have those courses, you may find it valuable this year to go ahead and take those courses so that you're ready to take on upper division courses in the IEOR department. So the freshman year typically general requirements of some reading and composition courses, and math 1A, 1B. These are basic calculus courses, physics 7A, and chemistry. We have a computer programming requirement, E7, or there are some other alternatives to that particular course. It doesn't have to be that particular, that's a MATLAB-based course, but you may, if you have fluency in some other languages through some other course, that is fine as well. And students start taking engineering breadth electives. And then sophomore year goes into a little more advanced math that includes linear algebra, differential equations, and physics 7B. Students use this year to take additional engineering breadth requirements. These are required across the college, typically sort of courses that are outside the department. And I have a list of what those courses might be in the following slides. 2 humanities and social studies courses, and another computer programming course. So we ask our students to take 2 computer programming courses. And then engineering economics course, the 120. So if you're joining the department from a community college, typically you start at the junior year, and these are the courses that you'll be taking. And the course in the junior year are the foundational operations research topics courses, and so they include the basic optimization, 162 linear and network optimization, statistics course, a probability course, and a probability modeling simulation stochastic analysis course. Then students also start taking IEOR electives. I have a list of them coming up soon. And also they use this year to continue with their engineering breadth requirements. Typically they take also humanities and social studies electives. So this is a recommended list. There are obviously variations of it depending on the needs of the students, and you may find more technical courses, you may take 3 technical courses instead of 2, and then, or you may take more humanities courses this semester, this year, and then more technical in senior year. So there is flexibility around these, but the basic optimization, probability, and statistics courses they are prerequisites for the senior year, so they must be taken in the junior year. In the senior year, students take 4 more IEOR electives and 4 additional technical electives, which are outside the department, a simulation course, and they do a senior project design course where they work in teams as in groups and work with companies. So they go out and utilize all the knowledge they have gained throughout their studies in the IEOR department and deploy them in an industrial context with the firm. And then they write a report at the end of the semester. They do a project presentation. So technical communication is part of IEOR 180. So here's a list of the elective courses that I was referring to. And I'm going to go over the names because it tells you sort of the diversity of the topics that we cover. The first one, IEOR 115, that's a database course, industrial and commercial data systems, where students learn the language SQL, and it's a relational database language, and the other course, methods of manufacturing improvement, that's related to manufacturing, obviously, how to run manufacturing operations much better. 135, a very popular course, an experimental applied data science course where students do a lot of hands-on projects. 142, but more sort of advanced machine learning and data analytics course. These 2 courses were introduced in the last 5 years or so due to the demand that we have seen in the sort of data analytics, machine learning sort of area from our students and also from the industry. IEOR 145, fundamentals of revenue management, was introduced by Professor Rajan Udwani very recently. His research area expertise. And 150, production systems analysis. It's a bread and butter of our program. It's on how to, again, improve production and inventory systems. 151, service operations. So we are interested in improving not only manufacturing production, but also the delivery of services. A big part of our economy is the service operation service industry. This course was introduced about 15 years ago. So as services started to become occupy a much bigger share of the economy. And logistics and supply chains, 153. Healthcare analytics is a new course. It's going to be offered this academic year in the spring for the first time. Professor Anil Iswani is going to teach that. Again, that is due to the demand that we're seeing from the healthcare industry. 166, decision analytics. 169, an advanced optimization course related to problems where decision variables have to be discrete. Plus a comment on optimization problems arise when you're designing systems. 170, industrial design human factors course. And finally, 171, firm leadership. As we find our students going into management very rapidly and creating their own companies, we found it really that it's important to educate them on leadership and entrepreneurship as well, and that is the topic of that course. So I'm going to stop here and open up for the Q&A session.
Great. So thank you all. We're going to start with our panel. We have 4 great students and 2 faculty here. So this is your opportunity to find out more about Berkeley, about the program, about the process, and what it's like to be a transfer student on campus. The first question I want to ask all of our student panelists and kind of our faculty as well is, why did you pick IEOR? What interested you about IEOR that brought you to the university or into the major? And we'll go with Abby. Do you want to share your thoughts on that?
Sure, definitely, Jenny. One of the reasons that I chose, well, IUR in general as a major is because I felt like it was the perfect intersection between engineering, business, operations, and optimizations, which is kind of all of my interests, a lot of interests I know, but IUR just blends them together so beautifully that it allows you to kind of build skills in all of those areas, such that when you go out to the industry and the first 2 years, you're trying to figure out, where do I really belong. All those skills help propel you towards success, inevitable success, even. And then, I mean, I think Professor Adam Turk elaborated on it earlier. A lot of the things that we work with have to deal with large scale systems, and in the modern world, the large scale systems are so complex and so interesting, and improving those even slightly can lead to like large improvements across the system. And just interest in all of those different areas is kind of what drove me to choose IUR as a major. I used to be a mechanical engineering major before I transferred, full disclosure, but I am in IUR now, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Thanks, Abby. Anybody else want to share? Or even one of our faculty want to talk about why they picked IUR? I mean, because you've dedicated yourself to it at this point.
I can talk about a little bit of my experience. Okay, I'm from a foreign country. In a foreign country, IOR is a pretty common major to choose after you graduate from high school. So it was kind of a logic path for me to follow it. But then I actually chose the major because something similar to what Abby was saying is like it blends different branches of the industry into something that is useful. Like you have to use math, but you also have other skills that help you to like relate to people. You are not like all technical stuff. You also have other skills that are really useful in the industry. And I really like that about the major, honestly, like how it blends a lot of areas into something that is really, really useful.
Great. What about you, Jello?
They kind of stole my answers. Okay. But yeah, it's very similar to what they said. I love that it's very interdisciplinary, that I could go to data science or business or operations or engineering. But I think what really attracted me to IOR in the first place is how I grew up, with limited resources. And so like I just grew up being very resourceful, trying to optimize my life, finding the shortest distance to walk to some place, or finding the cheapest great food in a city. So like those little things just built me up to be an IOR major. And I chose Berkeley IOR in particular because I was looking at the classes that they offered, and all of them really seemed interesting. And like Professor Adam Turk was showing all of them, and like you could take a lot of classes. You have more flexibility than most engineering majors, because other engineering majors are required to take specific classes, but as IEOR, you can take 6 electives that you choose on your own. So.
Great. What about you, Shujal?
Absolutely. I'm going to share a bit of a small anecdote before I even answer this specific question, but it definitely connects with basically my response. Whenever I cross the street, it's quite funny. I always try to cross, and you could imagine like a triangle, and that intersection. I think it's called the hypotenuse. It's been a while since I actually looked at a lot of like geometric math, but it's always funny. Whenever I cross the street, I started realizing that I cross it in a hypotenuse. And one day I was walking with my friend Preston, and I tell him, if you go all the way across and then you go like that, right? In like an L shape, it basically cuts down on that optimization. So frankly, I've been doing it since high school. And now when I think about going to a different university, I think number one, the fact that it's interdisciplinary and it blends in so many different fundamental principles, not just within engineering, but within data analytics, within statistics, right? I think it allows for you to become more interdisciplinary, and that in turn helps you create and design more efficient systems, right? So I think that's really key here, is the fact that it's interdisciplinary, because I'd rather be a jack of all trades than be a jack of one trade. That's the first time I probably said jack of one trade. I don't know if that's actually a key term, but definitely, I definitely want to be someone that's more branched out, because it allows for greater flexibility, right? And that's something that everybody here has been echoing. Number two, I think it's important to consider that outside of the prestige within the Berkeley environment, the fact that it's niche, right? When I say niche, I'm talking about a very small department, and that allows for greater opportunities to frankly just network around and find more people. It's quite funny, in my day-to-day classes. I see so many of people from like one class to a different class, and that allows for people to kind of bond and actually form relationships, right? Whereas if you go into electrical engineering, for instance, there's so many people within that major that it doesn't allow you to kind of develop like long-lasting and forge these long-lasting relationships, right? So I'd probably say like the combination of those two kind of propelled me within IEOR, like specifically at Berkeley. But it's fundamentally it's about optimization, because I've always thought about optimization, and taking formal courses on it is really imperative. And number two, it's also about understanding and having like an interdisciplinary approach to problems that you want to tackle. And number three, lastly, it's about like a very niche segment, and trying to forge relationships and actual bonds with different people.
Rajan, you want to go? And then
Sure. I guess I can maybe just essentially add to the answers that I have already come out. So from the research point of view, the reason I guess I'm an IEOR faculty as opposed to something else is because I like math, and IEOR gives me, I guess, an opportunity to kind of think about mathematics with an application in mind. And then I guess from the educational point of view, my undergrad was in electrical engineering, and then I did a PhD in operations research. So my sense of the main difference, since that was something that we just kind of heard about, that why you should take this versus that, is that basically OR or IEOR kind of is going to have you think about concepts in optimization, statistics, modeling, software algorithms, etc. But from sort of an industrial perspective, that you can perhaps pick and choose, okay, what kinds of industry you want to target. Do you want to learn more about supply chains at Amazon, etc.? Do you want to learn more about healthcare, etc.? Whereas EE and CS focus on hardware and software. So industries that basically either want to write large-scale industrial code or circuit design. So it's distinct in my view very much, even though there is overlap from the point of view that we both care about algorithms. At the end of the day, we are living in an online automated economy and growing more and more towards automation. But I think the choice is very distinct, even though people tend to think of it all as the same. That's I guess what I would share.
Thanks. Thank you all. So for me, it was really about not being confined to a particular device development or technology development. I wanted to be broader. I knew I wanted to be an engineer, but I wanted to be able to have a sort of bigger sort of perspective picture. And I'm very happy, obviously, with the choice that I have. I've seen my sort of friends who have gone to other engineering fields, and they have become experts in a particular technology and device, and down the line, that particular technology has become obsolete, replaced by something completely else, and they have found themselves in a very difficult situation in the job market. And so that the resilience of IEOR, the flexibility, is really has huge advantage over the career of a person. And I've seen our students to even move from one industry to another quite seamlessly with utilizing the skills that they have that can be operated, can be utilized in every industry.
Thank you all. Abby, you wanted to say something else?
Yeah, yeah. I'll just add like maybe like 3 quick things. Just listening to everybody just reminded me. To Srijal's point, yes, the IUR community it's kind of like a family, right? Everybody knows each other. Everybody has met each other. Everybody, to some extent, hangs out with each other, and it's a close-knit community that's here to support you, right? That's, I feel, a little bit different from the other majors because they're a lot larger, and they have a lot more students under, one, like trying to organize together. Whereas in IUR, we're able to organize more efficiently and optimize our social interactions and professional interactions. And on that note, I'd like to plug ISC at Berkeley. So if you do end up coming to Berkeley, please join ISC. ISC stands for the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers here at Berkeley. I am currently like a VP there, and it's a great community, and we're all here to support you. You're able to, meet with professors, meet with staff. We have an amazing, talented crew of professors and an amazing, talented crew of staff who help us, including Jenny and Goldie. So that's just one point that I wanted to make. Another point is that one of the things that I don't know if we have discussed yet is that the Berkeley IUR program is the Berkeley in general, but also the IUR program is one of the top programs for startup founders, and which is another reason why I chose Berkeley IUR. Is I'm really passionate about entrepreneurship and innovation, and looking to what is the next big thing that we can develop, or what is the next industry that we can change and make more efficient. And I think that Berkeley IUR really helps develop those skills and lets you get perspective into how to change these industries from a fundamental level, from a technical level, and from an operations level, right? And what was the third point? I think I forgot the third point, but that's all for now. Yeah.
Thank you, Abigail. The first 2 points were amazing.
So I want to open it up to questions from our students. You can either put your question in chat if you don't want to unmute, but if you want to unmute, there's there are enough of you and enough of us to answer questions that you might have. You're welcome to either to say it out loud or to add it to chat, and we can get your questions answered. This is the only time you're going to have this many 2 faculty and 4 students before your admissions to Berkeley to ask any question you want about the major.
Yeah, I guess I have a quick question. For someone who's interested in energy systems, can you guys distinguish like what would maybe be the benefits of majoring in IEOR versus like electrical engineering?
Sure.
I guess I could like maybe expand on that question. For someone who's interested in like power systems, like operations and optimization of, like integrating renewables and storage systems and renewable technologies.
Great. For these interests that you just mentioned, right? So some system levels of power, how to design and operate power systems efficiently. IEOR is a great major. If you're interested in building devices that go into the power system, right? ECS may be a great major, right? But if you're interested in how to run these systems, how to design a grid, right? It is IEOR exactly the right major to do that. Many of our students work at utility companies. PG&E, for instance, that serves the Bay Area. They have a crew of operations research team that they do research on on pricing of electricity, on where to manufacture, when to manufacture, what kind of resources to use to ensure that supply and demand is met. ISOs, independent system operators, hire our students, and our faculty work at ISOs as on their advisory boards, as consultants. Our faculty have grants from the sort of Department of Energy, and participate in various sort of competitions in this area. So it is a highly active branch, I would say, power systems of IEOR field. Definitely would be a great choice.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darren. Anybody else? Any other questions about the program, about Berkeley, about being a transfer? Okay, well, how about, oh, here we go. We have a question about what kinds of internships, apprenticeships are offered within IEOR and IISE.
Abigail, would you like to take that? I know that the student organization is very active in this area.
And
Sure,
I think Victor
definitely.
wanted to say something as well.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah, you can go ahead, Victor.
okay, I'm just gonna go first. Like right now, this is like my first semester, and I'm looking for internships. And I I really like IEOR because you can actually see when you go into websites, like we have, like as a student, we are allowed to use Handshake, go to those websites and see what recruiters are looking for industrial engineers. And the industry, there is like a lot of industry where you can go, but it's mainly like if you want to focus, or you like what internship you can actually do is more like focus on the process. For example, like logistics, I'm looking into one internship that is it's a logistic internship that is going to be like a full year internship that is going to happen. So like focus on the logistics, and that's something that I really like. That's something that you can do. But I also heard people going into like more technical kind of internship they can do. Go, Abby.
Yeah, definitely. To echo what Victor said, within like, and Professor Adam Turk, emphasized this earlier, IEOR being a broad field, a broad engineering field as it is, allows you to apply for internships within like in a broad amount, amongst a broad discipline, right? So it really depends on what you're looking for, what skill sets you're trying to improve, and what industry you want to experiment in. That determines where your internship, what kind of internships you'd be getting. Now, in terms of support for applying to internships and for kind of determining what internships you should be looking at, where you should be looking at, ISC comes in and has meetings that we host to inform that, to inform where you should be going, what are certain occupations within the industry that are popular, how to get to those positions. And other than that, we have our wonderful staff. Ginny, I'm pretty sure Ginny and Goldie send like 100 emails a week, and they have wonderful information about internships, about opportunities, about all of that, including the information that we get from ESS, from other professors. There's a whole slew of it. When you come to Berkeley IEOR, it's not about what internships I can get, it's which one should I pick. That's kind of how it is. And yeah, I mean, I think the biggest difference between applying to internships in CC and applying to internships and going through the internship process at Berkeley IEOR, the difference really is the amount of information and the amount of resources and the help that you get. It's absolutely mind-blowing. I remember my first day at Berkeley, I was given like, I don't even know how many pages of information, just a lot of information about different things that you can do, different pathways you can take post-grad, you know, preparing for those pathways, whether you want to be in academics, whether you want to go into like the management side of things, whether you want to be technical, right? I hope that answers your question. I'm not quite sure I did, but yeah.
A lot of students participate in summer internships at companies like Tesla, Neuro, SpaceX, and IISC is very good about organizing info sessions. So recently they held an info session with Procter & Gamble where an industry rep came in and spoke about the different opportunities. This week, Micron came in to talk about different internship openings. So the students are very, very actively engaged with industry. And typically, I think roles include data analyst, product manager, internships, things like that.
Yeah, I agree with Goldie. There's a lot of diversity in the types of internships our students do. They work for many different types of organizations, but they're walking the floor on Amazon, or they're doing they're working as a project manager. I mean, ISC just did a presentation a few days ago, which is one of the reasons our student groups are so active and wonderful about what it is to do an internship. They had students who came in who have done who are PMs during the summer to talk about what it is, what it entails, to give students the idea of like some sort of background before they do their application. So, if it's something that doesn't appeal to them or it's something they're really, really interested in, to give you as much information and resources so you can make good decisions about what you want to do and where you want to look for your pathways, because there are many different directions to go. Anybody else have sharing? Like I know Victor and Angela, you're in your first semester on campus, so it's kind of hard to say. But Shrijal, do you have any internship experience you want to share?
No, absolutely. There's quite a few. Hands down, I think it's important for you to recognize that the alumni community is also open to share information about different internship opportunities. For instance, I was able to present to the IEOR advisory board a few months ago, and I've still kept in touch with a few people from there, a few individuals from there, like specifically Terry and Todd. And both of them are in two different segments, right? I think one is in PG&E and the other one is in, I mean, he's kind of retired, but he went through the entire MBA process and worked for Sony for quite some time. But I think it's important to tap in and recognize that you have the ability to connect with individuals that were alumni that can help you navigate that entire application process. But beyond that too, right? Berkeley is known for its entrepreneurship. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a few LinkedIn posts that I ran across that says how that speaks volumes about how Berkeley's entrepreneurship is one of the top programs basically in the entire world for their entrepreneurship department too, right? So we have a great community. Before, I've worked on a Skydeck startup, and for me to just kind of tap into Skydeck opportunities and Skydeck internships, for me that was quite helpful as well. And also just working with other Skydeck founders on different projects could help open the door to more internship opportunities. But I will be frank, I mean, whether you want to work for like a smaller segment, like a startup, or if you want to work for like a larger company, there are definitely going to be resources to help you navigate that entire process from at least what I've found, right? Of course, there's going to be competition, but I think recognizing like ATS systems like Berkeley is already a brand name in itself. So it takes a lot more, or it takes a lot less selling for Berkeley students than it does for students that might be attending schools somewhere else, at least from my perspective.
Thank you all. So we're running out of time today. Thank you all for coming. I wanted to remind everyone that if you have any additional questions, you're welcome to reach out to me. My email is in the chat now. It's gsadil at berkeley.edu. And I guess we have one last question, if you guys don't mind going over for just a minute more. If that works, we just go for the very last question and wrap everything up.
Yeah, thanks, Janie. Really appreciate it. So I think you guys made it overwhelmingly clear how the IEOR department is catered towards industry and all its applications. I'm curious to hear more about what actually research within operations research actually entails, though. You guys touched on, I mean, a lot of the applications, but yeah, I'm just curious to hear more about what that process looks like and what your work is really focused on.
Sure. I can speak to that. This is an undergraduate oriented program. We focus on industry and practice and education for similar info sessions related to the master and PhD students. We'll be focusing more on some research activities of the department. So first, since we're running out of time, I just want to mention that on our department webpage, we have a research page there, and I would highly encourage you to take a look. And it's broken down into some different areas, such as optimization algorithms, machine learning, stochastic systems, robotics, automation, and various sort of industries. Definitely, it's something to look at. And there are also news articles there on the webpage that show the research impact that IEOR faculty and students are doing. And this is really cross-cutting across different areas, whether it's in early detection of cancers through advanced machine learning methods, or whether it is robotics to be able to do the surgeries, remote surgeries in the healthcare system, or whether it is in the area of the integration of AI and optimization techniques, or ride sharing and taxis, etc. So we have a lot of information on our web page, and even sort of faculty's research papers can be downloaded from their web pages. So definitely, I encourage you to take a look there. But it is really across the board. Our faculty are sort of top researchers in their areas, and they are editors of academic journals and referees, and they all have all of the groups of students that help with the research projects as well. So, and I'm happy to tell more offline after this presentation if you're interested in reaching out to.
Great, thank you again. Any parting words of advice from our current transfer students to the transfer students who are applying this semester? Or this month, excuse me, it's November.
Just stay dedicated. It may feel like you guys are almost at the end, but even after this, stay dedicated. And you've made it so far. So I'm proud of you guys. Keep it going.
Yeah, so IEOR is a really great major. If you ended up coming here, you're gonna have a lot of experience. So yeah, good luck to everybody.
Yeah, it's also overwhelming at times because with the application process, there's a lot of stress, but just know that it's only a few days or before, it's all kind of over, and the stress just kind of calms down. So I encourage all of you guys to reach out if you guys want. My email is just my last name, first name @berkeley.edu.
And just wherever you end up, just know that there are a lot of resources in any university you get into, and just be confident. Just apply to internships, just apply for research, even if it's your first semester in a university, because I've been applying and I've been getting some interviews, even though I'm a first semester student. So just be confident, just have that, just trust yourself, basically, and just do it. Just don't overthink it.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you, panelists. Thanks to our faculty. And again, if you wanted to reach out to us, I think Shujal just left his email in the chat, and you have my email as well. And I think Abby left his. So if you want to follow up with questions, we'll do our best to answer anything that you have before the application deadline on the 30th. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, everyone. I will look forward to your applications.
Bye.